Hey YouTube, coming at you with what is one of 7 Great League teams that I used during Go Battle weekend. I did all 200 battles. I got, if you check my Twitter, I ran from about 2440 all the way to 2800. I ended up at 2750-ish. So 7 different teams starting this morning and going through, because it's Great League next week as well, so going through next weekend. So stay tuned for all those teams. Lots of variation on the team, lots of different strategies. So hit that subscribe button if you're new to check those out. But let's look at this one. Defense Deoxys, Dragonite, Lickitung. So a couple things with this team. Let's just go with Lickitung because it's the obvious one. It's still one of the best save swaps in this meta. Even getting hard punished by, not even hard punished, getting beat by Medicham is, unless it's running like Dynamic Punch, you're still going to get like multiple body slams off. So Lickitung's just such a good save swap. Defense Deoxys. So if you're not going to use Medicham, you're going to use Defense Deoxys as your main fighter here. And what you give up, so what's the difference between Defense Deoxys and Medicham? So Medicham has that half fighting typing, which means that it neutralizes dark. So if you're against dark Pokemon, you're only hitting neutral against Medicham, where it hits super effective against here. Meanwhile, with the fighting, it also picks up a fairy weakness that Defense Deoxys does not pick up. But because Medicham is also half fighting, it gets stab on the counters. And if you're running Dynamic Punch, you get stab on that as well, as opposed to Defense Deoxys, which only gets stab on Psycho Boost here, but pretty bulky, obviously defense. So it has like similar stats, I think, compared to Medicham, just probably a little less coverage and a little worse because one of its main options to beat it is Sableye, right? With Medicham, because it'll take neutrals from the foul play as opposed to Defense Deoxys, which will take super effective. Shadow Dragonite. I've seen a couple people use this at regionals, and it's an interesting one because you have superpower for Lickitung and Ace Hand Slash. You got heavy Dragon Breath and Dragon Claw damage for Gligar, and you resist the counters on Medicham, but you do need to shield up its double super effective Ice Punch. So it's an interesting one. It's one why I built it with this team is because you essentially need 2 bulky Pokemon to absorb shields, because Dragonite's gonna need, it's so glassy, you will need all the shields with Dragonite. So let's take a look at the matchup here. We have Defense Deoxys against Pidgeot. You'll live a Brave Bird here, so I would be surprised if I shield anything here. It is just a Feather Dance. That's fine. I will get off a Thunderbolt. Again, 2 times lowered, but still super effective, so definitely will put in the yellow if they let this go. And they do. And now the question is, do I just go straight Psycho Boost right away? I try to, because I figured they're going to try and either take me out or lower my attack again. So they do lower my attack, so I'm already 4 times lowered, so the Psycho Boost probably won't even take out, but then there's no real downfall of it. And I almost get the full counter down, and out comes a Lanturn. So you resist. See, look at Dragonite's already having a little bit of problem here. Sparks are still neutral, and I know this is just a Surf, but these buffed Sparks are putting in work there. But I think I should be able to outpace to the move now because of how slow it is to get to the Surf now. So I do get to the second Dragon Claw. Is it enough to get out? Lanturn's pretty tanky. Not quite, just short. They had like a Spark advantage there, so had they not done it, I could have taken it. I end up shielding, and I think it's because Pidgeot's super low, and I know that the Dragon Breath damage is going to be overpowering to anything that's not a Fairy or Steel, right? And so getting that damage here, chip Swampert like crazy, come in Defense Deoxys just to force 1 Hydro Cannon, because now it is essentially just in Lick range, but it's also in Dragon Breath range essentially. So mud shots are resisted because I'm a flyer. Get the move off on there. They eventually get a Hydro Cannon off here, but now it is 1 lick away from being taken out, and I have a full health Lickitung here. So Dragonite putting in work there. Swampert Lead, it's one of those, so 2 Hydros will take you out. Thunderbolt is resisted because of the ground typing, so it's single resisted overall. So I think most strategy is to throw right before you get in. This is this is a smart opponent. The strategy is to throw your Psycho Boost right before they get to the second Hydro Cannon. And lo and behold, they know that, and they catch a Psycho Boost resisted, double resisted on a Sableye. So very nice catch there. Smart heads up play. Sort of the only problem for them is I got a Lickitung, which is one of the best answers for Sableye. They're going to have to throw a return or foul play. I assume they're just going to go return, and I shield that up correctly because 2 returns basically take you out, but it takes like 3 foul plays, so it just kind of makes sense just to go for the return considering the claws are resisted. And they shield back, which is a little surprising because now I'm going to very easily take Switch here with health. I mean, I dumped my energy so on Deoxys, so they're going to have to get to a Hydro, and they will, and a Hydro will take me out from this range. But I assume I'm just going to come straight Dragonite after. Okay, I get to a Body Slam, which is nice. This probably won't take out, but they're just going to farm down. Not surprising. Straight Dragonite. Hydro, Shadow and Child is still going to do like 60% here, resisted or not. So deep in the yellow, it is a Mantine. So hopefully I can just get to a, I was going to say hopefully I can get to a Dragon Claw, but smarter past me realizes that a Thunderbolt will take out a Water Flyer because it is double super effective. So take that out there. I'm going to get to the Psycho Boost before they take me out. Yeah. Their only win condition was to farm down and get 2 Hydros, although I think I'm out of Claw anyways. But that's their only win condition, so smart on them for trying. Just unable to do it. So Defense Fox is at Swampert. Again, we've seen this. Let's see if I can maybe not get caught on this time. The non-shadow is a little trickier because it still takes 2 Hydros to take you out. But this counter damage is not doing nearly as much as it was against the shadow. So I still need to throw. This time it looks like I'm going straight on here and got 1 shield. You have to still come in Lickitung. They're going to get multiple Hydros, so I may have to shield 1. Yeah, makes sense. They're going to get 2, so I'm going to have to shield at least once. It was an Earthquake. Interesting. And now it's a Regiu, so we're just going resisted Licks and Body Slams. I mean, resisted Body Slams plus Licks. What was I saying? Oh, Lickitung. You have to come Lickitung because there's just too many Pokemon that can just absolutely, like, you get in a Azumarill or something, you're just absolutely hard walled. So they lower my attack, and then I'm like, no, I am banking this energy, catch the move on Defense Deoxys. I may have just caught a Focus Blast there. I did just catch a Focus Blast. That is huge. I'm going to try and farm up as much as I can. I don't think I can farm all the way down so before I get hit with a move, so let us throw a Thunderbolt. So I banked a move on the Lickitung, which is nice. And out comes a Charizard. Can I get to a move? I cannot. Okay, I'm going to have to force shields here because Dragon Claw is probably going to take me out, a Dragonite. I got 1 shield. No, I didn't get a shield. I got a ton of chip, though. Forced him to throw. And at this point, it's just Dragon Breath damage the rest of the way here. Shield up this move. That is frame drops happening like it is 1.5 speed, but that is frame drops all over the place here. Now Swampert, again, there's no point of throwing. They have a shield advantage. Just go straight Dragon Breath. This is resisted, but it will just take 2 to take me out because it's so glassy. So that's the problem with Dragonite in this meta. I've seen it used on a few teams for regionals. It got to the top 8. And it's one of those things where it can be on the right team, which I think this is the right team idea, can be very deadly because you just, like, I already don't like what I'm doing here. Like, I should not be using shields on Defense Deoxys here. I need it for the Dragonite. So I do get the farm down, but, like, they can come in and get energy advantage with something. Sableye, right? So I just kind of have to stay in here. Get this off. I'll have Lickitung on it, so it won't be that bad. We'll just have to see what's in the back. I can basically lick all the way down, and then I'll talk about Dragonite after I see what I do here. Let this go, obviously. Take the return. Again, this is why you guys go 2 returns. I'm chipping here, which is smart because you don't know what I have in the back, so just do some chip if they are not smart and they let it go. And this is where you're just going to get overpowered. Again, Ice Punch takes you out. This is why you kind of need 2 shields. Can I take this out before they take me out? 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think so. Which is why I'm trying to grab a shield, because I think I'm going to eventually need one on the back end here. I had no chance of farming down, so I might as well just grab a shield. Maybe I can get to 2 body slams. But goodbye there. But no, I can't. I'm going to lose this. They're going to get to a foul play or a return to take me out. So again, I just lost that game on the front end there. I should have never shielded Defense Deoxys there. And that's the thing with Dragonite when you're against bulkier Pokemon. So if you're going to use Dragonite in this meta, something that's so glassy but hits so hard, you really need to keep shield advantage for it. So look again, looking back on this, I know that was a dumb play. Like, I should never ever use a shield on Defense Deoxys on the front there. So Dragonite, I think, does have a decent amount of play. Again, there are things hunting Gligar, which is ice. So from that perspective, it's kind of tricky. Like, it's just a much, not that it's a worse Altaria, because Altaria got nerfed a little bit, but Altaria was a go-to because it had the Dragon Breath damage, which you get on Dragonite. I mean, Dragonite hits way harder, but you had the bulk there. The only problem is what Dragonite has now is the superpower for that coverage. So if you have shield advantage and can get to like a superpower on a Sand Slash, you're going to one-shot. If you will superpower one-shot Lickitung shields down from the... I just want to see if you can just go straight superpower on Lickitung here. So we have a Shadow Dragonite with superpower only against a Lickitung, which is shields down. How much does a superpower do? 62% damage, and the Dragon Breath do 2.7% for each. So yeah, basically you just Dragon Breath the Lickitung to 118 HP, and then you superpower it with 114 damage into the ground. So that is very strong there. I am taking these moves and just going to bank the energy, I'm guessing, and then just go straight Lickitung. Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, I've seen it use at regionals, and it's, again, you don't, not that it's different in GBL, but GBL and regionals are much, much different in terms, and someone said, can you do how do you build a teams of show 6? I will do that eventually, maybe closer to when I go to Toronto. That could be like a good video to do in advance of how I build a teams a 6 video. But generally on a show 6 pick 3 team, you have to cover all your weaknesses with one, basically one swoop. So you have most of the top 6 teams. Let me just see if I can just pull up on Twitter, because they're pretty much all the same, because they all have the same formula, and I've actually covered this before. So what would have... Okay, so here's the top. So this was just the past weekend. So basically every team, I'm just trying to just summarize it. So like 8 out of 8 teams had Medicham. 7 out of 8 teams had Lickitung. The other one had Umbreon as your bulky safe swap. 2 teams had Shadow Dragonite, right? For your fast move damage. Every team seemed to have... 7 out of 8 teams had an ice. 2 of those were Frostlass. 1 was a Ninetales, and the rest of them were a Sand Slash. And then you have a lot of grass. They're covering your a lot of grass here. Superior, Venusaur, And then you have all bunch of waters, bunch of lanterns, swamperts. And then you seem to have like a flyer in there where there's a Charizard, there's a bunch of Glygars, there's Dragonite twice, and then there's basically a couple Umbreons. There's a Mandibuzz, but that's basically the teams in a nutshell on one card bank. So in the show 6, it's basically trying to build the most balanced team you can. So everything has like Medicham as your fighter, Lickitung as your bulky save swap, a Steel to resist like flyers. So Sandslash is the choice now. There's a couple Registeels on here, but Sandslash is the main choice here. You have a water in Lanturn or Swampert. You have a grass in Venusaur or Superior. You have a flyer in Dragonite, Charizard, or Gligar, right? There's your teams. Very, 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 very similar across the board. Basically, almost like one of every typing just to balance each other out, and then it comes down to playing. In Go Battle League, it's much, much different. It is truly the Wild Wild West, and I have 7 teams. I'm probably not 21 unique Pokemon here, but I got 7 teams with a bunch of different Pokemon. I had random ones like I used Vigoroth. I forget what I used. I used Water Gun Lantern and I used Spark Lantern. I used 8 Ninetales. I used Kanto 9. I didn't use 8 Ninetales. I used Kanto Ninetales. I used a few others, right? So you really don't know what you're going to get in Great League Open, which makes something like Dragonite much more trickier to use, I would say, in the Great League, because if you're in a show 6 format, it's like, okay, they have one Sandslash on their team. That's what I need to worry about. They have one Frostos on the team. That's what I need to worry about. They all have Medis. I need to watch the Ice Punch on that, but I can use multiple shield scenarios. With this, it's like, do they have a friggin' Swampert in the back, or do they have a Azumarill in the back where I'm going to be just absolutely hard countered? And that's sort of the problem that's where it's a bit of luck and a bit of team reading with how you're going to fare with Dragonite in the open. And that's why most of the time, if you just want safety in the Great League, that's why a lot of people just run. Why is everyone running Medicham, Lickitung, and Gligar? Because it's safe, right? It's basically safe against the majority of what you will be seeing. Unlike Dragonite, which is can absolutely brutally hard countered. So that is my thoughts on Dragonite. Still a good Pokemon to use. Had success with it. Just use shields on it. That is it. So stay tuned this afternoon for another video. Again, I have 7 of these teams as of the end of Sunday when I'm filming this. So it's going up Wednesday morning. So I already had 2 Monday. I had 2 Tuesday. I'm going to have 2 Wednesday and 2 Thursday. And I'm still going to have 3 banked for Saturday and next week. And it is Great League and a repeat cup next week. So it's going to be basically just Great League. So stay tuned for more of those and we will keep going. And also, if you have any good Great League teams, link in the description if you want to submit a team. Anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.